Yes, we have made it. If you've been with me through this 5-part series, I just want to acknowledge you for a second because you didn't just listen, you leaned in, you got still, you told yourself the truth, you expanded your options, you built a real plan, and now this is the moment. The final courage move. The courage to make the move. Let me say this really clearly before we go any further. You already have everything you need. You have done the awareness work, you've done the truth work, you've done the thinking, the reflecting, the planning, and now you got to do. I laugh when I say that because I was sharing all of this with my sister and she just mentioned how much of a trigger it is when someone says, "Okay, now go do it." Because naturally there are assumptions made that if we could do it, we would in fact be doing it. So I just want to make sure that you hang in there with me as I draw this really clear line of how you can actually get into motion. There's a myth out there that knowledge is power. We all know plenty of things and we don't do them. We know what to eat. We know we should get more sleep. We know we should put our phones down at night. And yet, we rarely do the things that we know we should be doing. So, knowledge alone, it's not the thing. Your power is in your ability to execute. This is where I think of one of my favorite poems, Theodore Roosevelt's The Man in the Arena. And he says this line: "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena." Right? It's the one who steps in, the one who shows up, not the thinking about it, not the wishing, not the waiting for the perfect time, the one in it. And for that, he is victorious. That is the 5th courage move in this series. It's the courage that you must actually make the move, the courage to get into the arena of your own life. So I'm going to push it a little bit here because everybody loves the idea of courage. We really do, right? Sounds great, lovely, awesome. Until it costs something, until you're seen, until it's really uncomfortable, until you don't know how it's going to work. And that's where most people stop. They do all this work that we've talked about and then they pause. They wait. They give it a little more time. And that's how people stay stuck for years. So if you're feeling some resistance here, good. That means you're right where you're supposed to be. Let's make this real, okay? Think about someone like Serena Williams, world championship tennis player. She didn't just train and train and prepare forever. She got in the game. So at some point, you have to stop preparing and you have to play. She reinvented her game multiple times. She made bold moves all throughout her career. She stepped onto the court again and again and again and again. And that's what this looks like. It's not about just trying to figure it all out. It's about moving, growing, taking continued aligned action as you do. Now, let's talk about why this feels so hard. Because this is most likely already contributing to why you haven't gotten into action yet. So I'm just going to give you like the top 5 pitfalls, I say, that you probably are facing if you're trying to get into action. When these things show up, you can look them in the face and you can say, yeah, I'm doing those, but I'm not going to anymore. Not today. So number 1, you will question yourself a lot. Number 1 is self-doubt. You will constantly ask yourself things like, is this the right move? What can I actually do? Can I actually do this? What if I mess up? Over and over and over again. And here is what you will need to remember. You already did the work, period. You already did the work. You already worked the courage framework up to this point. You got still, you told the truth, you expanded your options, you built a plan. We're not going backwards, right? You don't need to rethink every time the doubt shows up. I know I've definitely been guilty of that. We have to return to our truth when that happens. We have to ground into what already has been decided, for us, by us, in us, and we have to keep moving. This is an essential element of actual, like, how do you get into motion? Because we have to start from those truths. The number two pitfall that's going to show up is that your old patterns are going to try and suck you back into the stuck zone. You are wired for habit. We all are. So, of course, you're going to want to go back to what's familiar. And when you do, you don't just go back to your routine, you go back to the version of your life that wasn't working. Whether that is staying out late at work, whether that's scrolling instead of taking action, whatever it is, it's falling back into the same routines. But let me remind you, there's a reason you felt stuck. There's a reason you wanted more. There's a reason you're here listening to this podcast. Growth is going to require new patterns. I heard a statistic recently that folks will quit a new routine on average just 16 days in. Just 16 days. That majority of humans give up on themselves after just 16 days. Come on. That is not us. You are not most people. You are in this and you are committed to that. So remember, okay? Remember that growth and change, it's meant to be fun. And even the smallest difference in your choices or your habits, like we want to try and create spaces and opportunities for our brain to go, hey, change doesn't have to be so scary. Change is doable. We got this. So start with something small. Think about two things that you could switch up. Maybe even just like really small things in the next 24 hours. Okay. Two things you can switch up in the next 24 hours. Just a signal that you can have some fun with changing to show that your change, your body, show your brain that change isn't so scary after all. I'm sure there's some like, you're probably sitting here like two things. Oh my goodness. Watch how simple our brains try to overcomplicate this, but watch how simple this is. Literally brush your teeth with the opposite hand. So small. Also, you might have a little bit of fun. It's kind of crazy. Maybe another example, two things you could change in the next 24 hours. Maybe take a different route to work. Okay. So whatever it is, tiny little changes. This is how you're going to get in motion because you're going to switch things up. You're going to drive a different way. You're going to change your routine. You're going to break an old pattern. You're going to have some fun with it. And you're going to start finding new ways to embrace change because the small shifts, that's what matter on this path forward. Number 3, be very aware of who you spend your time with. This one matters more than most people want to admit. It's a fact. There's too many studies out there to ignore it, that you become like the people you're around. Their thinking, their conversations, their expectations, their beliefs about change and possibility. So if you're constantly around people who are staying the same, guess what becomes normal? I am not claiming that you should go out and cut everyone out of your life. Again, like I like to be realistic here. It's not about going cold turkey on, for instance, family relationships, but it is about being very, very intentional. Intentional with how much time you spend with people who you know are not advancing your life. And that's selfish and also not selfish. Intentional about replacing that time with new rooms, new conversations, new input into your life so that you can get a different output. Maybe some other examples, like maybe that's a networking group. Maybe it's a new podcast that you start putting on. Maybe it's more of this one. Maybe it's what you consume online, and maybe you need to follow some new accounts and unfollow other accounts. Maybe it's a community, like the Courage community. See what I did there? Yes, that was totally my shameless plug. Go check out the Courage community. But what I'm getting at is that being around people who are actually making moves, it changes you. All right, the number 4 pitfall that is going to try and keep you stuck as you intentionally try to pursue growth. It's going to be your own need to control the outcome. Oh, how I wish I didn't know this one all too well. But this one will sneak up on you. This one right here, it will quietly stop you if you let it. Your brain wants to know with all certainty, how is this going to work out? And your answer is, you don't know. And also, you don't need to, because none of us have a crystal ball into our future, and yet it happens anyway. You would like to know the path, but you don't need to know it in order for you to still move forward towards the life you want. I didn't plan on becoming a best-selling author. I didn't plan on having a podcast with over 100 episodes. I didn't plan on it taking me 9 months out of corporate before I'd earned a dime in my coaching business. I didn't plan for those things. I just took one aligned step and then another, and then another, and then another. There's this image I always think about. Maybe you've seen it. It's of this little girl holding onto a tiny bouquet of flowers. And she is looking up at an image of Jesus, just saying that she loves this tiny bouquet so much that she just doesn't want to let it go. And as Jesus is extending one hand to ask for the tiny bouquet, what she doesn't yet see is that he has a much bigger, more beautiful, abundant bouquet waiting for her in his other hand behind his back, just waiting for her to let go. She has to be willing to trust and to let what she already has go first, to make space for what he is trying to give us and offer us. Control keeps us gripping onto what's familiar instead of receiving what's really possible. I wish someone would have told me that in a way that I would have understood so much sooner, because I know I spent months gripping onto my own tiny, withering little bouquet instead of just surrendering to the uncertainty and embracing the beauty of it. So surrender it. Surrender your need to control how this is all going to end, how it's all going to unfold, and what every step needs to look like along the way. Let the path unfold and learn to enjoy the ride. And number 5 pitfall, just to be aware of, is paying attention to really what you're focused on. And is it the problem or is it the solution? This one is going to drain your energy, your excitement, your dedication, and your courage really fast. You'll start thinking things like, I'm not there yet. This isn't happening fast enough. It's still so hard. And suddenly, before you know, you're literally spiraling. What you focus on grows. So if you focus on what's not working, that's all you'll see. The antidote to that is gratitude. And I don't mean it at a surface level. 5 things you're grateful for today, and you spit them off within 10 seconds. You don't actually like sit and let it feel and like let those vibrations move through your body. I mean intentional gratitude, and I mean every single day. Practice gratitude daily. There was a moment in my journey where I felt like I was losing. I was losing in so many ways. And I remember telling my dad that. And he looked at me with this big grin on his face. And he said, but sweetheart, look where you're winning. And he pointed to my family, who was absolutely thriving. He was right. I just wasn't looking at it as much as I was looking at my problems. So I'll ask you the same thing. Where are you winning right now? What are you grateful for today? Because when you shift your focus to the things going well, to the things fueling you, to the things that make you want to get up in the morning, to the opportunities that are around you for joy, your entire perspective shifts. Focus on where you're winning, and you won't miss the opportunities unfolding right in front of you. So here's the invitation. Get in the arena. Make the move. Not perfectly, not all at once, not with everything figured out, just one step, then another, then another. And when doubt shows up, when old patterns creep in, when people don't get it, when things don't go exactly how you planned, good. That means you're in it. That means you're moving. That means you're on the right path. That means you're in the arena. I want to leave you with this too, that you're fully capable. You're smart. You are worthy of the life you desire. And with full conviction, I can tell you this: you're not going to fail. You don't know how to fail. Look at your life. Every single hard season, like every moment that you thought you weren't going to get through, every moment you shook your head and what felt like defeat and said, I just don't know how to, I'm going to get through this. But you did. You've shown up in courage before. You said the hard thing. You made the move. You did it scared. You did it messy. You lived. You learned. You grew. Courage is already in you. Now it's time to use it again to build the life that you really want. One courage move at a time. You got this. And listen, right here, after the clarity, after the plan, before the move, this is where most people stop. So if you're ready to not just think about this, but actually live it, like don't let this be another moment where you felt something and then you did nothing with it. Come, join us inside the courage community. This is where you will stay in motion. This is where you will follow through. This is where courage will become who you are daily, not just something you talk about. I will absolutely make sure that the link is included in the notes, and would love to see you in that room. Just remember, courage changes everything. And now you've got the 5 courage moves to make any change that you want. You know exactly what to do. So go make the move. Until next time, bye. Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode. It means the world to me that you're here to ride in the struggle bus with me and that you're willing to consider different perspectives, tools, and techniques that just might provide a little bit of relief and get you one step closer to the abundance that is available and waiting for us all. I hope you take a moment to grant yourself some grace where you've been denying it, some love where you didn't realize maybe it was right in front of you, and some faith where you thought all was lost. If this episode had an impact on you, would you please share a comment with a review? I'd love to hear what landed for you, and it helps us get the word out to our fellow struggle bus riders. So please review what was impactful for you. Just know these episodes are a pure labor of love in a space where I'm growing alongside you. I'm evolving every day, and I look forward to all the ways and the things and the perspectives and opinions and choices that will change over the course of time in my own life, day to day. Until next time, just know that you are loved, you are divinely cared for, and in the struggle, the journey of this life really is beautiful. I'm glad that we're in it together. Cheers.